All right, hey everybody, at my sports chat, Michigan, some exciting stuff. Basketball started. We had and Michigan. It was Rutgers week last week, so the yearly beatdown of Rutgers for the most part. Um, Pat, let's start with you. What do you think about the game?
Yeah, I mean, slow start a little bit, maybe the punt block and not getting the ball in there uh, on the goal lines. Just a tough first half. Not nervous though. I was kind of like, all right, let's get things going here, and we made a couple adjustments at halftime, and two interceptions later, Michigan's run away with the game again in fashion that they've done throughout the season. But yeah, hopefully they can come out this weekend and get a jump on it right out of the get-go and not wait till the second half.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can get by on all those moving through the next couple games here.
Tom,
But
what are
happy,
your
happy.
thoughts?
Exactly the same. I guess the thing I really need to see this week to feel a little better about them is they need to come out in the first half and put big numbers up like they're doing in the second half. And the defense is making great adjustments at halftime. I'd really like to see their start of the game adjustments be as good as their in-game adjustments. Um, it'll be interesting to see it. Nebraska doesn't scare me in the least. Even if Nebraska came out and took a lead, kind of like the last couple of games, I'm certainly not going to be even mildly concerned. But I would really like to see them come out with a little more energy. The first drive the other day was pretty intense. They played pretty well. They hit pretty hard, and then they got down at the 5, and all of a sudden we're going to run 4 times right in the middle of the line, and you got to do something a little different. And
Yeah,
are they
agreed.
just not showing it or whatever? I don't know. But and then they kind of went a little flat, and they didn't move the ball around a lot, and so I don't know. It was a little boring in the first half again, just like Ohio State, or I'm sorry, Michigan State and Penn State. So, but they really came out in that fourth or third quarter, and
A little
four
more fire.
touchdowns in the quarter is pretty telling. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good number.
Yeah. So
Well,
I thought the same thing. They come out, it looks good. Then they had a big drop off in intensity, I thought. And you're playing a team that, like, again, there's a lot more fight in Rutgers than there used to be. They don't have the talent yet. But I mean, you're playing a night game in New Jersey. If
Yeah,
you've ever been,
yeah,
guys have ever been in New Jersey, and, those people know how to drink and they know how to get themselves riled up. It's like Philly,
military
and
night.
so they know how to do. They know how to work themselves up. And then you throw in that block punt for a touchdown, and all of a sudden you got a little buzzsaw for another 20 minutes that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Um, third, I thought
right.
that, obviously the third quarter was the turning point. And one stat that I saw, I think it was the last 4 games, Michigan has outscored their opponent in the third quarter. I think it's 104-6.
6, right? Yeah,
So that's big. You have basically a 24, 25 point um spread in one quarter every. I mean, if that was what it was in a half, it would be in the second half, it would be a big stat. But in the third quarter alone, that you score mid-20s on average in the third quarter is crazy.
You look at that and you say, all right, if we flip the halves and we're up 38-0 at halftime, and the final score is, what was it, 52-17?
yeah,
Are we a different mode here in this podcast today?
right.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, we
Yeah,
probably are.
yeah,
But let's do it. They gotta, again, don't let the guy get in a few shots.
No.
right.
Floyd Mayweather didn't sit there and like let the guy, you know, stay even with him for the first 6 rounds.
Uh,
He just pummels them,
yeah.
or just dominates them, and the guy doesn't have a chance.
All right.
And that's what you want to. Those first 3 games of the year in the off season, or not the off season, but you know what I mean, the out of conference season.
Yeah.
That's great. We just stepped on their throats and just poked them in the eyes for 30 minutes. That you do the starter stay in for one drive in the second half, and then everybody gets to play. I mean, I want that. I want to see 9 people throw passes again, like that one game. You know,
Yeah,
I want to get in there and throw a pass this time.
we were questioning
Yeah.
having him out there, the starters with 8 minutes to go. It was 40 something to 17 total domination.
Yeah.
We're
You know,
like,
he
get
took
him
some
out of there,
hits
get him
too,
out of there.
man.
And
Yeah.
he got hit harder than he's hit all season. I think it's
Yeah.
first time he's really been hit in his career.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go, Tom.
I tell you guys, and maybe this is something we should look at really close. I don't think our receivers are doing a very good job of getting open. Obviously, we weren't at this game, but last week against Michigan State and a couple weeks before against Penn State, I didn't see a whole lot of separation. I'm not sure if it's ability or route running. I'm not smart enough to know that.
Yeah.
But if you're the quarterback, and I'll give JJ some credit. You see him looking left and right. He's not going back there and just looking somebody down unless it's a crossing pattern. He tends to watch, whoever he's going to on those short crossing patterns. Um, if you look, he's looking down the field for someone to break open. He's looking left, he's looking right, he's looking middle, he's looking deep, he's looking short, and he's getting crushed because of it. And I just don't see the receivers making plays. They had a bunch of balls this past week that either hit him in the hands or he threw a fastball and he shouldn't have thrown a fastball. The one he threw to Cornelius on the sideline, I don't know who could have ever caught that ball. Maybe
Right.
Randy Moss. I mean, he threw that, as hard as you could throw a ball 25 yards. But like even the play in the end zone to was it Schoonmaker, the tight end? He had the ball in his hands. The guy had his hand inside. He didn't wrap it up. Didn't catch it.
Yeah.
There were too many plays where the guys weren't catching the ball. And I heard people say, well, he wasn't throwing it in the right spot. He was a little behind him. I don't give a shit. Catch the damn ball.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we have the receivers to do that, to be really honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's very possible we have a bunch of number 2 and number 3 receivers.
And short. We don't have a whole lot of size,
Right.
except our tight ends.
No, and then like the missed throw to Anthony.
Yep.
To me, that's something he was doing earlier in the season where, I mean, you got to complete that pass. Complete the pass first, get to 50 yards, and then hope it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
But get the 50 yards. They're giving you 50.
He did not put a whole lot of air on that ball.
No,
That ball
not at all.
was a dart. Yeah.
No, not at all. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, even, at first look on, like watching it, Jake Budd as the color guy saying that, oh, it looks like he probably slowed down.
Yeah.
He's just thinking there's got to be a good reason why we didn't complete that pass. And then he sees it, and I'm watching it too, going, okay, did he slow down? And I'm thinking it didn't look like he slowed down. And I mean, Butt, to his credit, admitted that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some issues there. I mean,
Ronnie Bell made a great catch right on the sideline, and the guy he landed out of bounds, but he makes a great leaping jump up in the air, great catch. And I think he did another pass pattern cutting across. It looked like a pretty simple catch, and he missed it. It's like, you made that one on that sideline, but you can't catch the one. Yeah, you lose across.
If I remember right, Rutgers. Okay, obviously they had the punt block for a touchdown, but their only other offensive touchdown was a mesh route.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Defensive designed to get either set a pick or to have the defensive guys run into each other. They did, and the guy was wide open and he scored.
Well, it wasn't that open. I mean, he was getting held. DJ Turner had him by his jersey, pulling him, and they called pass interference on the play. So he was there. I might
have been thinking about like maybe a first down or something, but I'm thinking that I saw a mesh route, and have we seen? Do you guys remember a mesh route for Michigan this year?
Well, yeah, actually I do. There was a couple of them. One down on the goal line where we ran that route, and they called us for it. So, we actually were blocking downfield basically. We've gotten called for it one time. I think we run it a lot more than you think because we run that crossing pattern all the time. and I'll bet you there's guys going in multiple directions. There was one play where the official actually got in the way and knocked down a defender against Rutgers, and we had a guy wide open. So it happens. We do a pretty good job of it, as much as anybody does.
All right. So something I want to bring up is the play calling. I mean,
Yeah,
Tom, you mentioned it. Get
yeah,
down inside the 5. We run 4 straight times up the middle. Um, part of me thinks, okay, that's big boy football. And part of me thinks, oh my God, that's the most uncreative thing I've ever seen.
yeah,
Especially seeing like LSU and Rutgers. LSU and Rutgers, LSU and
yeah,
Alabama.
yeah,
Um, you know, they just do a little play and
yeah,
the tight end leaks out and gets to the pylon.
yeah,
And they run a play where
That
they
was a
fake
great,
it
that was a great,
inside, and then they roll out and he's open and he's
Mhm.
open for a half second and they get it to him during that half second and they win the game. I mean,
that
and
little
Michigan
spin
just
move.
goes, here we go.
Well, they did run a great play. I guess it was 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago against Penn State, maybe on the going for two when they had, I think it was Ronnie Bell was wide left, and between him and the left tackle were two tight ends standing out there at the 3-yard line, and they snapped the ball. Bell is in motion coming back toward the line, and he stays behind the 3-yard line. The two tight ends go out and block the two guys that are there, throws the pass, and Bell takes 2 steps into the end zone
Right.
because the guy covering him can't get through the blocks. So, there are plays that they've ran, they just don't run them often enough. And I really wish we'd see a little more of that stuff. And even the touchdown pass to Cornelius Johnson in this game. We had ran a play before that. We lost 2 or 3 yards on we're trying to run a jet sweep from the 5-yard line, and we
Yeah.
lost 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
No
then
good.
he threw an absolute dart that Roman, or not Roman Wilson, but Cornelius Johnson caught. But if you looked at it when they showed the replay from behind the formation, there was a tight end running right in front of it at the goal line, and there were 3 defenders there, and it's like, it just looked like total confusion. And fortunately, nobody else's hand got on the ball except, the guy we wanted, with Cornelius Johnson catching for a touchdown. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see a lot of great plays inside the 5.
Yeah, I agree. Pat.
I thought we came out, and it's funny. I think the first series or two, we might have thrown the ball a little more than we had normally in the past couple games on our play
Yeah,
selection.
certainly downfield.
We kind of looked. We started that way, and then all of a sudden we went back to obviously our bread and butter, and both running backs get to 100 yards by the end of the day, and Edwards and Corum. So I mean, obviously he did try to air it out a little bit more, and then I'm sitting there thinking, all right, now he's getting killed. They're lining him up and they're taking some shots at him. He got hit on the wrist on one foul.
Man, he got clobbered a few
I
times.
mean, like
Yeah.
when you're out there, you got 3 linemen or whatever missing. We're missed Hayes, had a young guy starting on left tackle. We had, we're missing Jones on the right tackle. But
And Keegan went out.
yeah, I mean, we lose a few
Right.
linemen, so then all of a sudden it's like maybe we should probably go back to the running game a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I thought we threw the ball a little bit more. And obviously, the timing's still just not right there where you can click. But maybe my expectations are more. But you watch some of those other games, and they're bang, 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 man.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's impressive. So.
Yeah.
With younger quarterbacks too. Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, guys, we can't complain. They're 9-0.
That's
Right.
right, man.
Oh, we can complain though. Yeah, I'm about to complain about interceptions.
I don't know.
And because so they finally get a bunch of interceptions. Okay, cool. And again, when you're there to pick off a pass, you did a good job.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Watching the game though, it seemed like it was quarterback errors. I mean, it wasn't.
They're always quarterback errors.
Well, you're right.
I mean,
but
can't
it,
be other than that.
But it was almost, but it's just had that inevitability to it. Like you got a really young quarterback, and he's just kind of okay. Now he's going to press because they're falling behind more and more.
Well, if you noticed, the first interception when Barrett dropped back into coverage and snuck in front of the receiver, the quarterback literally came back, looked at the receiver the whole time, and threw a dart right to Barrett. I mean,
Never
Young
saw
or old, it really doesn't matter. He's he got tricked by the defense. So
Yeah.
that was our adjustment. I think they were
Yep.
talking.
So
yep,
yeah. No, and maybe that's it. They knew he young quarterback, so bait him.
He did the same thing on the other side. He went the other way
Right.
with it.
Yep,
Barrett
same
was
thing.
standing there.
Yep.
You know, it's like, wow. And this
Yep.
is,
It was almost mirror images.
yeah,
I look up at
yeah.
my holy crap, we got another one.
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
it meant was 14 points in 11 seconds, and the game was out of control.
Well, and then we
So,
scored another one right after that, and you
Yep.
know, you got 4 touchdowns in a quarter. So
Yep. So yeah, defense again. We always kind of brush off the defense. You know, we're the Heisman of podcasts where we ignore the
yeah,
defense.
yeah, yeah.
But 188 total yards. Something that I saw. I thought about it right after the game, and then I looked it up. But Rutgers only had 3 drives that went over 3 plays.
Yeah.
Like in the entire game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
You know, that's
what are we complaining about?
well, that's
Is it
what
two or
welcome
three
to
in a row.
Michigan fandom,
we've
Mr.
gotten-
Young.
We've got them under 200 yards, haven't it?
What
Isn't
we
it
do.
Yeah.
2 games in a row? We've kept them under 200 yards, right? Didn't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 or
Well, how
3.
come we're not keeping them under 150?
Yeah. And why aren't
They
we
still-
throwing, why aren't we scoring 7 touchdowns in a game and throwing bombs all over the place?
Yeah, and they still had that 45-yard pass, which is bull crap, man. So yeah, we're in agreement. Okay, so you know what it means is Tennessee loses and Michigan moves up to number 3 in the
Yeah.
rankings. In I know Pat gets fired up over that stuff. I don't.
Unless you're an ESPN analysis guy who put Oregon and Texas A&M ahead of Michigan and kept Michigan at 5.
You know what?
Where
All
do
you
they
got
come
to
from?
do, the bottom line is we got to beat Ohio State. We don't beat Ohio
Yeah.
State, we're not in.
Oh,
And to
yeah.
be honest, I think if we beat Ohio State, they might not be in. It all depends on what
Right.
happens down below.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there won't be 2 Big Ten teams.
They're going to
in
rematch. They're going to rematch again. You know, TCU's got to play a title game. Clemson's got to play a title game. Alabama, or not Alabama, Tennessee and Georgia still got to play again in the championship game. I mean, there's just so many things that got to play out that
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter what kind of. I mean, you put them up there. The ratings are up there because they got to have sell TV games. You know,
Right. Right.
any reason
Yeah,
why they-
it'll work itself out.
Yes, it
All right.
will.
So speaking of working itself out, Nebraska this week. Again, I'll ask the same question. Do we have to analyze that game? 28-point favorites.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Yes, we
All
do.
right, go for it, man.
Yes, we do. We'll have to do some analysis. I'm just hoping we come out. I'll give you my 15 seconds on this one. We got to come out. We got to score. We got to score a bunch. I'd like us to see 28 points in the first half, and do what we done years ago. Score 7 in the second half, but get to 35 and just manhandle them, and do it early.
Yeah, I think Nebraska's in an area they've never been in before, and Michigan should come out and get right at it. This will be the first cold weather ball game for the team. I mean, it's going to be 38 degrees down there on Saturday, snow flurries, possibilities, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it'll be one of those kind of games, but I think just keep their eyes forward, keep looking to that big matchup in Columbus in a couple weeks.
Yeah, Nebraska, they fired their coach so long ago, it almost seems like it was last season.
Yeah.
But I think they hit the wall. The excitement of having the interim coach has worn off. They've lost their last 3 games. Playing decent teams, but again, I mean, decent Big Ten teams is,
relative.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Michigan covers.
Yeah.
Well,
if they don't cover, it'll be a big victory. I mean, 24 to 30 point win. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Hey, we can win 21-7 and score late and still move up in the rankings like another team.
Yep.
See, I told you he gets fired up over that.
Yes, he does.
Somehow.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then you can just
somehow
see
they
him.
can.
See him
Somehow they
Here's
fuming.
the problem. It's called a vote.
I
It's a
know.
vote for a reason.
And they corner the market. They corner the market.
Well, you know what? They got a 12-year, 15-year run here that we don't have.
I saw today they ranked the top 25 basketball teams NCAA. +1. They did 25 +1. Guess what the +1 team was?
Who?
One guess.
Ohio State.
Ohio State, the
Ah,
26th ranked
cool.
team. They go
Wow.
25 +1, and I look and here's 26 was Ohio State. I'm like, come
Funny.
on, man. Some idiot put that together.
Come on, man.
Come
Come
on,
on.
man. That from something else, but
All right. So let's just do a couple minutes on basketball. They started yesterday. First game of the season. That wasn't an exhibition. They beat Purdue Fort Wayne by 19.
Yep.
And I thought Hunter looked awesome. I thought they looked a little lost when he wasn't in there. And the big thing for me is Jed Howard. That dude can shoot. He seems like he can play. He's got the right attitude.
Yep.
And I'm expecting big things from him.
But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Okay. So what happens when he gets up against guys from Illinois or Michigan State or whatever? They're going to be in his shirt. You know, he needs a 2-month run here before he has to play anybody really tough, because he's going to be a lot like Caleb Houston was last year. He'll have these great games, and all of a sudden you won't find him for a while. And he did that last night. He kind of disappeared. And I was a little bothered by the fact that he's on the court not doing anything. And our guard play was terrible. Llewellyn is not very good, and Doug is not very good.
That's gonna take it. That'll be exploited at the Big Ten level, no doubt.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
I like the Baker kid. I think he's going to take a little while, but he'll get going. Transfer from Duke. I think he'll help out a little bit. He'll probably be that steadying force you'll need. And I like Hunter. We just got to get him involved, I think, and make sure he's getting touches every time down.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say about that game, I didn't know this until today. The team we played is an extremely old team. Almost everybody on the team was 21 or older, and they had a bunch of fifth-year guys.
The best guy was up.
That says a lot for why we struggled in some areas of the game. We didn't have a whole lot of turnovers. We had a handful. We didn't shoot very well from three. I thought this was a John Beeline team there for a while. It was like, oh, just launch another shot. And you know, Dickinson ended up with 12 or so rebounds and 22 points.
Double. Yeah. Their best player was out, injured, or didn't even play. So
Yep.
But yeah, I think it'll take a while. I think there's a lot of growth still. But like I say, game 1, game 2, whatever it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of time here, but they'll run into North Carolina and Kentucky and probably get taught a lot of lessons there.
The Fighting Imani Bates, you never know. You go up against the Fighting Bateses
at the LCA.
And they'll see that. Yeah, LCA on Friday, right? That's their next game.
Yep.
Yeah, so Bates, let's see what he's all about. You know, it should be interesting. And in terms of like Doug McDaniel, you know, I mean, he's young. You know, they'll grow. We'll see.
Yep. I think 2 months from now we'll be happier.
I'm more impressed with Jed Howard than I ever was with Caleb Houston.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think there's some more baller there than that. Yeah.
Yep. Very talented.
Yep.
He's got a little spunk like his dad. He's got a lot of spunk like his dad.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. I think he was undersold a little bit because of his dad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right to the low edge.
Guys, thank you. And you know, thanks for everybody who's watching.
Go Blue.
We will be covering football, and we will be covering basketball. Maybe I'll even sneak in a few
number 1 hockey team
things with hockey.
Yeah. Yep.
So
sounds good.
All right. Thanks guys. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
We'll see ya.